This idea of arming the teachers, I don't even want to give it any credence, but this is about the dumbest idea to stop school shootings in the world. Why do you want to put that type of pressure on an underpaid individual whose job it is to teach? They don't need militarization of teachers. It's like people are, here's the thing. This is how Trump does a lot of stuff. You argue, or the gun owners, whatever. You argue something that's so bogus as if it's a logical argument to begin with. We talking about anything but banning assault rifles. Any other solution but banning semi-assault rifles. Now, I don't own any guns. I thought about owning some. My wife and I couldn't agree on it, and I talked to my dad about it, who's like my wise counsel, and he made a good point. Most people who own guns as for a home invasion, you're much more likely that somebody in your house is harmed by them than that you stop a robber. And also, you got to be willing to shoot somebody in the face or the chest. And I had small children. My wife was like, if my kids get to that gun and hurt themselves or somebody else, I won't be able to live with that. So that was my thing. I get protecting your house. I get a gun for hunting. I get having multiple guns for either reason. You can't help me understand why a regular person needs a fully automatic or semi-automatic assault rifle. You just can't convince me that a regular person to protect themselves needs to have a semi-automatic assault rifle. You also can't convince me that even if a regular person needs that to protect themselves, that anybody over 18 can just walk in and purchase said weapon. No background check, no waiting list, no nothing. Just go on, get that. Gun show, internet, put it together. You just can't do that. You also can't convince me that if America didn't want to criminalize it, we couldn't. We criminalized weed and crack, substance abuse. We criminalized alcohol. Obviously, anything that's a crime, people can still find a way, but that's not the idea to make it impossible to get. It's supposed to restrict the use. The consequences for having said use should be egregious. That will curb. Australia is a great example. 96 had 2 mass shootings, banned assault rifles, haven't had a mass shooting since. People are like, but you can still get it on the black market. Does the average person know how to get to the black market? For instance, I always use this example just in my regular life. For the majority of my life, I had no idea how to get cocaine. Now that I live in LA, I know how because I know people who use cocaine. But for 30 years, no idea how to buy weed, cocaine. There's no illegal way for me to buy a gun. People always say you can get on the black market, you can get cocaine. But can you get a kilo of cocaine? Can you get 2 kilos of cocaine? Can you get 2 pounds of weed? Why, if you need assault rifles, why not RPGs and grenade launchers and flamethrowers and tanks? I need a tank to protect my house. I need a military-grade assault helicopter. But the last thing I want is a teacher to have a gun. First of all, they're under enough stress and strain. Now you got the teachers worried if they break up a fight. The thing that's more likely to happen is a student gets a hold of the gun and harms the teacher or somebody else. Now you got that. You got teachers breaking up fights, having to break up fights. Let's start with making those type of guns that can do that much damage in that amount of time more difficult to get. Okay? Let's start there. I don't expect a teacher to be, let me teach you, let me worry about these kids, worry about what's going on at home, worry about standardized tests, worry about not having enough supplies, not having enough money for supplies, worry about drug use and sex, and also be prepared to shoot a student dead who has an assault rifle. That's not the solution. Sounds like a solution to sell more guns, though. Easily sounds like a solution to sell more guns. And that's the thing. The NRA is in the business of lobbying to sell more guns. And unfortunately, in our country, as I've aged, I realize this more and more. Our politics and our laws are not based on the best interest of the people as much as they're based off the best interest of the lobbyists. And until we decide we, the people, are not going to be influenced by the lobbyists, then there's nothing that's going to change. Because politicians are really just mouthpieces for lobbyists. You line up how much somebody is paid a politician and what their stance is on the issue. Their stance is never the opposite of who paid them the most to say something. If a senator or a congressman or a presidential candidate took $3 million, $5 million from the NRA, they're not going to begin no debate. Until the public votes in the interest of the issue, then people are going to vote in the interest of the lobbyists. I mean, senators, the people, at the end of the day, the politicians' main goal is to stay in office. And if they are really like, okay, you know what? If I'm going against this assault rifle ban, I'm going to lose. I can't even take your money. There's no amount of money, because without being in office, I have no influence. So if their influence is gone, okay, whatever you feel about gay marriage, this is not the point of this point. The point is, gay marriage was a non-starter until more people, especially on the Democratic side, realize that if you're against gay marriage, you're going to start losing elections. Therefore, gay marriage. Barack Obama, against gay marriage at the beginning, for it before he left presidential office. You probably will never see another Democratic presidential candidate who's against gay marriage. Now, what Barack Obama feels personally about gay marriage is irrelevant. What he feels like the people who are voting for him are going to accept is all that matters. Trump supporters, Trump in his position, he cannot be against the Second Amendment. All those gun-toting red state, don't take our guns! Doesn't matter what he feels about assault rifles personally. It matters what the people who vote for him feel. So as long as the people who vote for him are against any ban on assault rifles, he's going to be against it. Now, if the people who vote for you say, look, I'm not voting for you if you're for this issue, and enough of them say that, look, I'm going to be what? What do I need to be? So I actually thought about homeschooling my kids. I was like, man, my kids' school is really hard to get into, locked everywhere. But they don't have no armed guards. So I be praying, man, like, Jesus, protect my kids. Me and my wife used to want to, like, man, our kids could watch a movie next to us. But she was like, after that doggone person shot at the movie theater, I'd be like, she's like, what if something happens and we're not next to them? At least we need to be there to protect them. And that's a shame that we even have to think about that. When I was a kid, man, we had so much freedom. Parents dropped us off at the movies at Zay's age at 11 o'clock, came and picked us up 5-6 hours later. We'd be at the movies all day in the summertime, day after day. One summer I saw Losing Isaiah and Dumb and Dumber 100 times probably. Just let us roam. We were roaming the neighborhood, ride our bikes all over the place. And it seems like technology has made us safer, but it's definitely made us more scared. So, I don't know. Chief Levite, you need to remind me how the old East Coast version of the Periscope song goes. I don't be singing it because I don't know how, and I can't sing and you make me mad. But before I go, I want to let you know I added shows: Buffalo, New York, Newark, New Jersey, a second Atlanta show, Austin, Texas, Fort Lauderdale, and Jacksonville. And I'm working on Omaha, Nebraska, Denver, Colorado, and Fayetteville, North Carolina. Joy bells keep ringing in my soul. Oh, we welcome you to Periscope. That was it. We welcome you to Periscope. Oh, we welcome. All right, here we go. You added a show in my city. Can I exchange my ticket? Now I'm mad. Now y'all got me doing all this extra work. I'm going to tell you why there's no shows in Alabama. I had shows up in Alabama and they didn't buy no tickets. And I hit people I know in Alabama and they was like, Alabama don't buy no tickets. A friend of mine was like, unless you're Beyonce or Bruno Mars, they're not coming. So, anyway, I love you. I did my best to be on Periscope a lot. I'll be on a lot next week because I don't have a show till we don't leave for New York till Friday. But God bless you. Now, I'll exchange your ticket if you want to go. Just send me a refund request. I'll refund your ticket. You can buy a ticket to the new show. God bless you. God keep you. We'll see you at the conference.